Welcome to Health Facts with Normani Ricks. I am your host, Normani Ricks. I like to start off each episode with a little known health fact. Did you know that burnout rates for top executives are at critical levels? Studies show that 56 to 72% of leaders experience burnout, and up to 40% of C suite executives consider leaving their roles due to extreme pressure and difficulties with work life balance. I have the honor of having Miss Savauna Sage with us on the show today. She is the owner of Paradise Park, an 8 acre wellness retreat located just outside of Atlanta. She developed this amazing riverfront wellness sanctuary with her husband and children in Douglasville, Georgia. She has become an expert in helping caregivers and individuals with high performing jobs overcome burnout. She is a former television editor and solutions architect for companies such as Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Welcome to the show, Savannah.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Normani. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with you today.
Okay. So, what would you say led you to opening this amazing wellness retreat in Douglasville?
Mhm. Well, there were just three touch points. When I was growing up, I had a large family, and a lot of them experienced detrimental issues from my grandfather having a brain tumor, my grandmother having a double mastectomy and tracheotomy, my mom suffering with mental illness. And I said, I didn't want that to be me, but I didn't know what to do. I ended up coming to Atlanta, to Clark Atlanta University. The first course I took was yoga, and they taught me that your posture and your breathing can impact your nervous system and your digestion. And fast forward, I get married, I'm in corporate, and then I hit a burnout myself.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't understand it because I had already been vegan or vegetarian for like 20 years. And I ended up hearing about a retreat in the area. And I didn't want to go because I'm six-figure corporate. I'm like, these people are bohemians. They're going to try to hug me and emotionally manipulate me. It was exactly the opposite. I learned about having an herbal regimen, caring for myself. I was so inspired that I had a retreat for 22 women after 6 months, 6 months after that first retreat I went to,
Wow.
and then went on from there to build this place
Okay. So, how did you get access to this land?
through purchase. So the funny thing about it was, I told my husband, well, let's just look for it because I really felt that I would retire in technology, but I really felt that God wanted me to do this. So I was like, but if I get into business, that's gonna lose money. You lose money before you make money. And so I didn't want to do it, but then it got to the point where every time I would approach a computer, I would start to feel like I'm gonna throw up. And so it was like a message that God was sharing with me that I built you up, not just for yourself, but for you to serve. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I had a realtor, and she was Instagram sharp. She was amazing. But she started talking to me about a budget that was pretty large. And she said, I don't think you can find what you're looking for. You might have to scrap your plan. So I go on Zillow. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just look on Zillow. I haven't been out the market this long. And so I go on Zillow. The first property I saw was that property.
Oh, wow. So, that was meant to be.
Yes, for sure meant to be. Oh, yeah.
Wow. So, what current services do you guys offer?
So we offer group and individual services for rejuvenation and transformation. They're wellness activations, very similar to a retreat, but they encompass elements of a retreat, a spa, and a program. So we actually assess our guests. We from there look at their ultimate wellness vision, their inner wellness. We look at what they're trying to accomplish, where they are in their lives, and we curate a wellness event or excursion or activation for them. That's our premium service, Peak Performance Pivot. When people like, a lot of times there's high profile people that come, we sign NDAs and all of that, and we walk them through a rejuvenation. And then we have groups. We have groups that come. I mean, we have all kind of corporate groups that have come. We have also group events that we put on, and we invite folks out to be a part of a group.
Okay, that's awesome. What would you say that you get the most positive feedback about? Like what part of the program?
I love the fact that people just say, just stepping on the property, they feel a sense of peace. They
Wow.
feel a sense like they actually pulled out their passport to go somewhere. But just knowing that I've impacted people to change their lives. Our mission is to inspire women, thereby families, to fulfill their legacy by engaging in holistic living. So once we're able to holistically move them from this stuck place, kind of like on the side of the road from their destiny, they're able to get back on their legacy. And I think on the path to their legacy. And I think one of the best compliments I had is one of my guests, after she left, she ended up writing her book and she included Paradise Park in the book. So,
Wow, that's huge. That's awesome.
yeah,
That means you're really making an impact. So
thank you.
you said a word there, legacy. So let's talk about legacy. So you have children. So
Yeah.
what do you feel like this retreat has instilled in them?
Oh my goodness. I'm a boy mom. So I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old. I have had, I'm an agriculturalist, I'm a holistic living specialist, I'm a herbalist, sound therapist, thought mastery practitioner, mobility stretch practitioner. So my sons are athletes. I went into the kitchen the other day and my son had a glass and it was all red. And I knew that he had hibiscus in his cup, drinking tea in the morning. They have a stretch practice because they're athletes. They know if they twist their ankle or whatnot, they use some of the practices I use at Paradise Park, like red light therapy. They work with me in the gardens, so they know how to grow food. They have eaten from a garden. So all of that is legacy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So red light therapy, that's a new buzzword.
Yeah.
So how do you guys incorporate red light therapy at your sanctuary?
Yeah, so we have a session where you sit under the red lights because that is stimulating cellular regeneration. And I've seen it firsthand again with my sons and with myself. I'm at level 50. I turned 50 last year. And so I feel good about where I am. And I use these practices in many areas. So the practical application that a lot of people are aware of for red light therapy is if an athlete sprains something or hurts something, they use red light therapy and you can see how fast it works. But there's also masks that you put on your face to stimulate cellular regeneration and anywhere you put the red light. Allegedly, I'm not a doctor, do your own research, but I have experienced feeling a sense of rejuvenation in areas where I place the red light. And I mean, it works pretty fast.
Yes, it really does. I've experienced it before too.
Yeah.
You said something really cool there. What did you say about 50? About being 50?
I'm level 50.
50. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that before. But
I
I
love
just
it.
know that when people don't want to say what their age is, I'm like, every year that you get to live is amazing. So let's not hide how old we are, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a part of legacy. Legacy is not just leaving a legacy of wealth, but leaving a legacy of health. And it's not just about longevity, but it's also a lifespan, but it's not just about increasing your lifespan, but also your health span, because we want to live long to see our grandchildren, our great grandchildren potentially, but we want to do so in a healthy manner. We want to recognize everyone. We want to be able to pass down our wisdom. And we don't want to jeopardize that by being stuck on a bag of pills or having that scalpel have to slice us up so that we can stay here.
Yeah. So I know there is a cliche like health is wealth. And I feel like a lot of people kind of started saying that during the pandemic, and a lot of people were on social media, and a lot of people started paying more attention to their health because they had more downtime. Can you tell me about a specific time in your life where you kind of had some downtime to really think? I see that you said that you went vegan. So, like, what was that for?
Oh, I was 19 or 20 years old, and honey, I'll have to tell you a little, let you get in my business a little bit to tell you this, because I was so shy to talk about this at 19 or 20 years old, used to hopping and popping. I'm here in Atlanta. I had a scenario where I couldn't go and do the number two. At 19 or 20, this is the first time I've ever thought about my body needing to do anything. Everything was on autopilot and it was going. And I was so nervous and scared to tell anybody that this was happening. But I told someone and they told me to go to this herbal store, a legendary store that's been in Atlanta for 30 years. And they gave me a bag of what looked like leaves to me. I never had heard of anything like this. So I would have took crushed glass if they given it to me and told me it was going to send me to the restroom. So I took the leaves, I just put them on the spoon and I just ate them. And the flow came back. And so that was my clue that there was something that I could do besides go to an emergency room. I didn't have to necessarily wait. I can take control of my wellness. And that is what I want to instill, and we do instill in our guests at Paradise Park. There are holistic ways, preventative ways. And we have amazing relationships with doctors. They love it because they say there's so much we want to do for our patients, but after you have run your liver and your heart, your uterus and all of that down, and you come into my office and you sit on this bed and you say, fix me. Well, I've got to go to a pill. I've got to go to a scalpel. But if you can get some preventative help, then that's where we're all working together.
So to pivot off of that, so you said that some people refer groups to you guys, some doctors refer to you guys. Um, what would you say that the difference is for different people with different life responsibilities? So I'm sure people come to you guys that are probably like stay-at-home moms, or
Yeah.
people come to you that just kind of have a regular 9 to 5, and then people come to you that are like top level executives. So, like,
Yeah.
what would you say are the differences and the commonalities?
Yeah, well, first of all, when I mentioned I was at level 50, you will know that I grew up in a time when the television used to go off at 12 midnight. Okay. There are some people around right now probably won't even believe that. If somebody called you and you weren't home, you missed the call. So life moved at a little different pace. Right now, life is moving like this. It is just going, going, going. So we're all very overstimulated. All of us are very overstimulated. Our nervous system is screaming. And a lot of times, when our nervous system is reacting like that, it cannot give the right messages to our hormones, to our fascia, to our organs, all of these things. So, that is a common thing that everybody is facing. Endocrine disruptors in our air, in our water, in our food, the nutritional deficit in our food puts everybody on the same playing field as far as those things, unless you can get access to local foods. At Paradise Park, we feed our guests farm to table. We have a registered farm here. So our chef creates vegan meals and teaches our guests how to eat to live deliciously, but also to replenish them nutritionally, because we select the foods based on the things that our guests are dealing with. So those are just a few of the things that I would say on that.
Okay. So you said you select the foods based on what your guests are dealing with. That's
Mhm.
powerful.
Yeah.
So what would be your three key food items that you think produce the most nutrients?
So we have a number of spinaches from all over the world. One is called longevity spinach. In China, they call it the plant that cures 100 diseases. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm not. That's what they said there. Okay, but but it's a very nutrient dense plant. There is also, let's see what we, oh my God, arugula is another good one. You're green. So a lot of people who are dealing with things like fibroids, PCOS, they want that. It's now listen, I'm not the doctor, but it's inositol, whatever. I know to eat raw foods and raw greens, or even if you're gonna cook something, lightly cook it like greens. So and we also have amazing lettuces there, but we have a a plant called the leaf of life as well. Um, and what are some of my other top favorites? Lemon balm. We use it in all of our like drinks. Lemon balm is an amazing nervine. It is antiviral. So I would say the longevity spinach, the lemon balm, and our variety or assortment of greens.
That's wonderful. I wanted to ask you about the stretching and yoga. Like, how important do you think that is for longevity for life?
It is we have a 12-point system at Paradise Park. So we're dealing with mind, body, spirit, and emotion. We separate it so we can comprehend it, but it's all very much linked together. So stretching is taking a lot of those toxins that are coming into the body mentally. We're holding emotions. If you learn about your fascia, which is a web-like system that surrounds all of the muscles, I mean, it is a pervasive system, just like the lymphatic system or the nervous system in the body. And that system right there absorbs a lot of our tension and our stress. So when we are stretching the fascia, we do neurofascia manipulation, and we have assisted stretch. So we are moving those toxins and the lymph around in the body. So it's another form of detoxification, because we want to detoxification and detoxify in layers. The skin is one way to detoxify, just taking a detox through our body. So we detoxify for respiratory through breathing, perspiration, urination, defecation. So we want to be moving the toxins out of our body all the time, especially since there's so many these days.
Okay, that's awesome. So, as an occupational therapist, because I'm an occupational therapist, my thought process for like importance and longevity of stretching is like I'm thinking about when I used to work in the nursing home and like people couldn't even bend over to like put on their shoes or put on
Yes.
socks, or they can't reach their back to wash their back. It's just really important to me to have flexibility as you age.
Yeah, so we do have the mobility stretch as well. We're focusing on hip openers, pelvic floor, things like that. So again, it's very comprehensive. We have a 12-point system, five essentials, and three pathways. So when we're doing holistic care, we want to layer, layer, layer. And people come to us at a point where it's kind of like if you were dealing with a stuffed drain. After a while, liquid plumber isn't working anymore. You got to get a snake, you got to tear them pipes apart and really get in there. So our mind, our body, and emotions hold a lot. It can be from trauma, from toxins, all of those things. And at a certain point, we have to just come and flush on all layers. And that extends our longevity, our fulfillment, our clarity, our calm, our peace, and our bliss.
That is amazing. Savannah, you are known for 7 ways to prevent burnout. So can you leave our listeners with some of those?
Sure. So I would say mindfulness is number one. Mindset. Sometimes it's the way that we're looking at a scenario. And so that's why gratitude is one of our 12 principles. So having an in-depth gratitude practice. Next, prevent burnout is to have boundaries. Have boundaries around your self-care. So whether that is you knowing that I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day, I'm going to take 15 minutes after meetings to reset. I'm not going to take meetings on Saturdays. Whatever it is can wait one day so I can have one day with myself and my family. So boundaries. And then I would say having a holistic care team. Gone are the days when we just go to get a checkup once a year. We have, our medical team. Yes, we have these people, occupational therapists, doctors, gynecologists. You have these people, but don't wait a whole year or 6 months. Be engaged in preventative care, and we need support in this environment we're in. So, like you talked about the services we have somatic therapy practitioners, we have assisted stress practitioners, we have chefs that know how to cook, that are certified nutritionists, know how to cook vegan, sound therapy. So having a team that can assist you on those levels is important. Another thing is make sure you're nutritionally sound. So like in the wintertime, it's really important for melanated people to take D3 with K2 because this can impact your mindset. It impact these vitamins and these nutrients are what the human needs. We are a very sophisticated system. So we need these things so you can avoid brain fog, fatigue, and all of these things that are leading you to burnout. So that's really covering nutrition, is covering your diet. And then having practices, I said mindfulness, let's go. Hydration is a big one,
That's a huge one.
So I might be skipping around a little bit. I don't want to take too much time. I think I hit five of them.
Oh, that sounds
Five.
amazing. It helped
Mhm.
me already. So
Yeah.
that's great. Savannah,
hmm
how can people reach you on social media? How can they get an appointment with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So individuals and groups can go to paradiseislife.biz and you can select either something that we have going on, or you can set up a call with us so that we can have a retreat consult with you and curate something for your group or for yourself if you would like to have a premium individual experience. On Instagram and TikTok, we're at Paradise Park ATL.
Awesome. I will definitely let everybody I know
Mhm.
to come so they can reset and relax and rejuvenate at
Yeah,
Paradise Park.
yeah, absolutely. We go beyond a vacation and an escape. We are here for a transformation and a full spectrum reset.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today, Savannah.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was great speaking with you, Dr. Normani.